Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Autoimmune Registry monthly webinar series. And I would like to kick off our meeting with our Executive Director, Erin Aben, who will say a few words about what's going on. Erin?
Thank you very much, Reggie. If you look on our website and you go to search by symptoms, you'll see that pain is far and away the #1 symptom of autoimmune disease. And one of the things that's not really clear there is that the pain that these people are suffering, the people suffering from these diseases they don't look like they're in pain. They tend to be young women. They look like they should be healthy. And that is a big problem because they are not. And it's really one of the things that the Nicole's group, the U.S. Pain Foundation, has been addressing with their Invisible project and trying to get the information that patients have about their own experience and the pain they're suffering is extremely important. We need to get that information to the doctors. I'm really interested in hearing how they are doing this. And that's all I really have to offer. So I'm going to hand it over back to you, Reggie.
Thank you very much, Erin. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce our speaker for this presentation. I'd like to introduce Nicole Hemmenway. She is the executive CEO of the U.S. Pain Foundation. She also is a little bit about, I'm a bit choking up because I'm so privileged today to introduce this person. She has been with the U.S. Pain Foundation since 2010, and she has grown her organization to be such a inspiration, such a pace setter in innovation, and so on. She's also an accomplished author. Her book, No, It's Not in My Head, was published. She is inspiration there. From wheelchair to marathon, which is a great part of her title. She also helped establish the Invisible Project online and print magazine. And she also was the first publisher for the Invisible Project. She has been featured in leading magazines in the US Today in 2015. And she was awarded in 2017, received the Unsung Hero Award for her contribution to advocacy, awareness, and support of pain. So with that, I will turn it over to Nicole.
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you so much. Thank you to Reggie and Erin for that warm introduction. And I just want to say thank you to everyone at the Autoimmune Registry for having me here today. As Reggie shared, my name is Nicole Hemmenway, and I am the CEO of the U.S. Pain Foundation. And like many of you, I also live with a chronic condition that comes with pain and really has shaped my life in countless ways. So I've lived with pain for over 30 years, and I know firsthand how hard it can be when your pain or health challenges are invisible to others, especially in systems that truly aren't built to hear us very well. So today I want to share what we're doing at the U.S. Pain Foundation to change that and how we support people that are living with chronic conditions that have pain components and how we're working together to ensure that your voices lead the way in research, care, and advocacy. So pain is a common thread across many autoimmune conditions. And I know Erin quickly touched on that just earlier. Recent data came out that 1/4 of US adults live with chronic pain, and many within the autoimmune community face complex overlapping challenges, including delayed diagnoses, limited treatment options, and an overwhelming lack of validation. Chronic pain is now recognized as the leading cause of long-term disability in the US, with new cases that are actually surpassing those of diabetes, depression, and high blood pressure. And according to the CDC, not only do more than 24% of adults live with chronic pain, but 8.5% endure severe high-impact pain that drastically interferes with daily life. Yet despite this prevalence, pain is still treated like a footnote. It is under-researched, it is undertreated, and very much still misunderstood. Let's be honest, navigating the healthcare system with an autoimmune condition and chronic pain is exhausting. You're often your own care coordinator, your own researcher, sometimes your own advocate. Dismissal and disbelief are all too common. Many of us have had to fight just to be seen, sometimes even by your own long-term providers. And this kind of dismissal is more than frustrating. In fact, it's most times and oftentimes very harmful. But every single experience you've had, every delay, every misdiagnosis has the power to shape a better system. And that's really why your voices matter so much. So I kind of want to pause here for a quick second and share a piece of my story, and not because it's unique, but because I know so many of you will see parts of yourselves in it. My journey began when I was 13. I had a simple ankle sprain from a basketball game, nothing major, but instead of healing, my ankle and leg became extremely sensitive. It started to change color, I couldn't bear weight on it, and despite months of physical therapy, nothing seemed to improve. After about 5 long months of uncertainty, I was finally diagnosed with complex regional pain syndrome, or CRPS, and that's a severe neurological condition that causes chronic pain. I was really, really lucky at the time because a nerve block and intense physical therapy helped put me into remission. But I was told that I would have to stop all physical activity for the next 2 years. And as you can imagine, being a teenager that loved to play sports, that was really devastating. But in the end, it turned out to be the best thing possible. I started to improve. I was just a normal kid again. And I thought that maybe that chapter of my life was over. But during my senior year of high school, something happened that literally changed everything for me. I gave my best friend a high five, and my ring and pinky finger made direct contact with her left palm. It was an ordinary moment that went awry and turned out to be terrible. And instantly, I felt sudden burning pain in my right hand. Within an hour, it clenched into a tight, painful fist, and it really stayed like that for the next 5 years. So in a second, I went from being a normal teenager to someone who couldn't use her hand, who lived in constant pain, who felt dismissed and disbelieved by doctors. That became my life. And I'm sure that many of you can also relate to that. I went from appointment to appointment, hearing things like, it's all in your head, or you need to calm down, or have you tried this? I don't really know why these treatments aren't working. They should. I remember taking binders of my own research into appointments because many of my providers had never actually heard of CRPS. So I became my own medical detective, my own advocate, not because I wanted to, but because I had no choice. And then something amazing shifted right when I was starting to get to my lowest. I met a provider who didn't have all the answers, but they said something that changed my life forever. I believe you. I am going to work alongside you to help you through this. I don't have answers, but we are going to be a team. Those 3 words, I believe you, gave me hope. For the first time, I realized that I wasn't fighting alone and I had a partner in my care. So from there, I started to explore a more comprehensive treatment approach. I combined different therapies, built a care team, and slowly started to reclaim pieces of my life. But still, by the time I was 21, I could barely use my limbs, and doctors told me I was untreatable. And it really felt like the end, until I learned about a podiatrist who developed a non-invasive electrical stimulation device. I committed to the treatment, even though it was long and grueling, and I went through 10 agonizing months before the treatment really began to work. And thanks to that breakthrough, I am able to do what I'm doing now. I was able to eventually run that half marathon that Reggie mentioned. I wrote a book about my journey. I stepped into new roles as a wife and a mom and a true advocate. Part of my life is always going to be pain. Pain is still there, but now I have the tools that I need to help manage it better. And that is literally what drives my every single day in my role at US Pain Foundation. So at the US Pain Foundation, our mission is simple but powerful: to empower, educate, connect, and advocate for people living with pain. as well as for those who care for them or provide for them. So how do we help people? We offer a wide range of free patient-centered programs because we know that there's no one-size-fits-all solution to living with pain. Recognizing that one of the biggest gaps is access to self-management tools, we actually developed 2 key resources. Building Your Toolbox is a monthly educational series where you can learn practical pain management strategies and skills that you can incorporate into your daily life. And then we also have My Pain Plan, which is an interactive, user-friendly website that helps you explore over 85 types of treatments across 5 categories of pain management. You can then create a personalized list of treatments you'd like to try, and you can either share it with your providers to help make informed decisions together about your care, or you could also download it and maybe stick it on your fridge and turn to it for more ideas on those days that you're having a flare. We're also really active on the policy front. We believe in the power of our voices and how they are really shifting and shaping policies that are impacting our care. So we help train pain advocates at the state and federal level. We have a volunteer program that allows you to make an impact wherever you are. And then we lift up the youth perspective through our pediatric pain program, because even our youngest voices deserve to be heard. We also recognize that pain isn't just physical. It affects every aspect of who we are, our mental health, our relationships, our identity. And when it's invisible to others, it can feel incredibly isolating. And that's why connection is so important. We need spaces where we feel understood, where we don't have to explain, defend, or even mask our experiences. So we offer a national network of peer support groups, and these are led by people who've been there. These are individuals who truly get it because they're walking this road alongside each of us. Each group is facilitated by a trained volunteer facilitator. They've all gone through ongoing training with our director of mental health and support, and they meet weekly with her as well to help guide them along this journey. So that means those that are coming to our groups are really getting strong facilitation and connection, guided with compassion. We have close to 70 virtual support groups that meet every single month. And what makes our groups really unique is the way that they are structured. We will be the first to say that these are not therapy groups. They are peer support groups. And we really focus in on making sure that we look at building real life skills like pacing, self-compassion, resilience. We ask questions that are, what are some of those tools that you've learned along your journey when you're having a bad day? Or how do you advocate for yourself? Or what still brings you joy? We really want to focus in on how we could put more skills inside our toolbox and be a support and a listening ear for others who are going through similar things. So we've created many different types of groups to meet people where they are. And so some of them are listed here. We have our national groups that focus on a monthly topic. We have a daily group that meets every day and on most weekends, and as well as we have one on every single holiday. So knowing that Thanksgiving is next week, our peer support group is going to be meeting from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern. We have state-based groups to help people find community inside their local area. We have specialized groups as well for caregivers, veterans, military, BIPOC and LGBTQ plus communities, for teens and parents. And then we have special interest groups that are focused in on specific areas like creative writing or reading. We have mindfulness group, creative arts. And we're really just trying to make sure that we are providing support wherever somebody is. So this isn't just about building support. It's about finding a place where you belong and just understanding that everyone else that is going to these is going through the same experiences as you are. All right, so here are a couple more of our resources, because we know when you're going through pain, information can be just as powerful as treatment. The right knowledge helps you feel less alone, more in control, and better equipped to make informed decisions. And so that's why we offer really a wide range of free patient-friendly resources that are designed not just to educate, but also to empower. So whether you're newly diagnosed or you're years into this journey, we have materials to help you better understand your pain, explore treatment options, and really build a care plan that actually works for you. We've created practical tools like our Living Well with Migraine and 6 Steps to Healthy Feet guides. These are focused more on specific conditions. And then we have broader resources like our Living Well with Chronic Pain series, which offers simple, effective strategies for everyday life with updated versions that are adapted for kids and teens. We also host webinars and distribute videos, infographics, and printed and digital guides, all grounded really in that real world insights and reviewed by both patients and professionals. And these resources, which is so amazing, aren't just sitting on a shelf. They're being used by people like you, by myself, by families, by support networks, by policy advocates, and even by providers who want to do better for their patients. Everything is available on our website, completely free of charge. All you have to do is reach out to find the online version or even request free copies that can be mailed directly to you. So before I share more about some of our other programs that Reggie and Aaron had talked about earlier on, I want to take a step back because it's so important to ground this work in our actual reality, right? So earlier this year, US Pain surveyed nearly 2,100 individuals living with chronic pain across the country. And while the numbers were powerful, for the most part, those of us living with pain, it just really confirmed what we already knew. First, pain doesn't go away. 87% of respondents had lived with pain for over 5 years, and 1 in 3 for more than 25 years. This isn't a phase, it's a lifelong reality. Second, pain is complex. On average, people had 10 different diagnoses. That means managing layers of illness, not just one condition. And before people even got treatment, they're stuck in limbo. 1 in 3 waited over 5 years, and others never got a diagnosis. Many saw over 10 providers while trying to find answers. And even after the diagnosis, validation was rare. Only 12% felt their providers truly understood their pain, and just 3% felt very well understood by anyone. One finding that I really want to highlight for this community was among people with rheumatoid or psoriatic arthritis, around 95% experienced inflammatory pain and also reported significant levels of musculoskeletal and neuropathic pain. So pain isn't just one thing, but too often our care plans and research models treat it like it is. And perhaps maybe one of the most frustrating things of all was while only 11% had participated in clinical trials, 85% of individuals said they would if those trials were inclusive, accessible, and patient-centered. This data isn't just numbers. It really is a call to action. If we want to build systems that truly serve people, we have to start where individuals are and what they're telling us. We have to stop treating lived experience as anecdotal and start treating it as essential. And so hearing all of that data, the long waits, the misdiagnoses, the desires to be part of research, you might be wondering, okay, what now? What did you decide to do with all this information to help meet an unmet need? Well, that's where our November campaign comes in. Every November, we shine a spotlight on a key issue impacting the pain community. And we've dubbed the month November, K-N-O-W, the month of knowledge. So this year, the focus was on something that many people felt disconnected from, but absolutely shouldn't. And that is pain research. Under the theme No Research, we're working to make research more accessible, more human, and more reflective of real individuals' needs. Because for far too long, research has been something that seems to be happening in a lab, far removed from the people it's supposed to help. But the truth is, research should start with us, with people actually living with chronic pain, And that's what this campaign helps break down: how research works, why it matters, where the gaps are, and how you, whether you're a person with pain, a care partner, a provider, an advocate, can play a role in really shaping a more inclusive future. So we want to transition research from something that's mysterious into something meaningful. And I want to recognize that many of you already are ahead of that curve. Just by being part of the Autoimmune Registry, you're already contributing to the future of research by helping connect real individuals' experiences to real scientific progress. So to support this campaign, we've pulled together a whole collection of free, easy to understand resources. Here's what you can explore right now on our website if you went there. We have articles that are explaining pain research in plain language, what it is, why it matters, and how you can get involved in this campaign, as well as just get involved going forward in either being a research participant, a patient partner, or getting involved in registries and studies. We have our 2025 pain research infographic, which is really highlighting the powerful survey findings in a quick visual format. This is great for sharing with providers, friends, and advocacy partners. And then we put together a video playlist. Through our website, we heard that 70% of individuals did not even know pain research was occurring. So we reached out to the research community and asked them, would you be willing to share a 90-second video with us as to why pain and what are you studying and researching? And so this video playlist is really highlighting what drew them into pain science and how patient voices are helping to change the field going forward. So whether you're curious or ready to get involved, we've made it simple to take that next step. Visit uspainfoundation.org. You can go to our program section. It will say November, and you can click there and connect with our No Research campaign. Because the more we really understand research, the more we can help shape it. And the closer we're all going to get to treatments and care models that really actually reflect our realities. So one of the most powerful ways we amplify the patient voice is through our flagship program, The Invisible Project. And I know it was touched on earlier, but if you don't know much about it, here's what it is. It is both a print and digital magazine that features real stories from people living with chronic pain and invisible illnesses. It brings to light the emotional, physical, and financial toll of these conditions. And it really shows the humanity behind the diagnoses and behind the people that are living with it. Each edition also includes expert insights, practical tips, and resources to help individuals manage pain and navigate care. But at its core, this magazine is really about lifting up the lived experience to create empathy, educate decision makers, and build community. And the latest edition focuses entirely on pain research, what it means, why it matters, how it can evolve when it truly centers patients at its core. And so I want to offer a huge thank you to the Autoimmune Registry for supporting and collaborating with us on this issue. When you read it, you are going to hear stories and individuals like your very own Reggie Barnes, who reflects on joining research registries and studies and the impact his participation had, not only on his health, but on his overall wellness and well-being and hope. You're also going to find articles that explain how research works, how patients can get involved, not just as participants, but really as collaborators, and how organizations like the Autoimmune Registry are creating bridges between lived experience and discovery, with insights from leaders like your very own Autoimmune Registry's Aaron Abend. This magazine is available both online and in print, and it is completely free. So you can read it by going to our website, uspainfoundation.org. While you're there, if you would like to, you can order copies by going to order materials, and we will ship them out for free. And if you order one or if you order 50, it doesn't matter. We just want to make sure that they get into the hands of those that need it the most. And we are more than happy to mail them to you. So this actually marks the 25th edition of the Invisible Project over the past 15 years. And each issue has focused on a different area of pain that goes unseen. So we've done publications on conditions such as migraine and headache disorder, diabetes, low back pain, autoimmune diseases, neuropathic pain. And what makes this project special isn't just the content itself, it's really where the magazine goes. And so these publications are distributed, like I mentioned, free of charge across the country to individuals that are living with pain, to caregivers and care partners, healthcare professionals. We've sent them to medical schools and hospitals, and yes, even researchers and policymakers, because we truly believe in the power of stories. And when people read these stories, it becomes harder to ignore the need for change. And that is why we are, again, so grateful for the collaboration with the Autoimmune Registry in this latest edition, because together we're really amplifying patient voices and making sure your perspectives are not just seen as data points, but more as drivers of research and care going forward. All right, so I know that I have covered a lot today and talked pretty fast. I discussed everything sort of from pain education to advocacy to research. And if any of this has really resonated with you, I want you to know that there are so many ways to get involved with the US Pain Foundation, and every single one of them makes a significant difference. So you can start simple. You can subscribe to our newsletter to stay in the loop about new programs, resources, and opportunities to speak out. If you want to do more, we offer volunteer roles that meet you where you are, whether it's leading a support group, sharing your story, or helping others find resources. We also invite you to sign up for our Action Network alerts. And so this is when key policies are on the table, whether it is at the state or federal level. We will send you an alert so you can send a message, make a call, or show up when it counts. It's advocacy that's really made easy by just hitting a simple button on your computer if you need to, but it is so powerful. There is nothing like personal stories that drive policy changes. So every single one of our voices matter. And then again, don't forget all of our resources, from guides to webinars to the Invisible Project, are free and shareable. Bring them to your provider's office, post them online, use them in your local support groups, bring them to educational events or community tables, because when you get involved, you're not just supporting yourself, you're strengthening a community. And when you're helping change how pain, and you're also really just helping how pain is seen, understood, and treated going forward. So with that, I just want to say thank you all for allowing me to share this space with you today. At the US Pain Foundation, everything we do is rooted in one belief, that individuals deserve to be seen, heard, supported, and empowered. So whether you're navigating an autoimmune disease, a neuropathic pain condition, living with overlapping pain conditions, or caring for someone who is, you matter and you are not alone. Please go check out our website for more information. But just know again that you're not alone. We see you, we believe you, and we're here to walk alongside you and advocate for you. Together, I really believe we can reshape how pain is treated through compassion, community, and a commitment to listening to the lived experience. And so now I am going to turn it over to maybe Reggie, and I am open to take any questions if there are any. I could stop sharing my screen too.
Wonderful presentation, Nicole. And I will jump on one of the comments. Being a person that's in pain, it seems like we're always in need now. And Jordana, I really needed help right now. Your incredible presentation is perfect timing.
Thank you.
So I think her comments are very much on the bin there. I do have a question kicking this off. With the innovation pipeline, and go back and look at 1977, where they were studying, because hot peppers, conspiracy, as a pathway for reducing pain. And excuse my twisting of my tongue, my other illness steps in sometimes. What do you see as some of the new medications that are coming down the pipeline? Could you talk about some of that?
So it's actually a very kind of exciting time right now for pain. There are quite a few things that are in that pipeline. Uh, there's mostly some really novel non-opioid pharmacologics that are looking to potentially come to market soon. There is a medical cannabis oil that's over in Europe right now that is approved in Europe. They're looking to see if they can do trials in the US. So that would be very exciting as well. So I think from my standpoint, there's quite a few things that are out there, which is fantastic because there hasn't been any novel therapeutics really in the space of pain for 20 plus years. I think the one that would probably come to mind would have been the CGRPs for migraine and headache disorders a couple years back. Now we also have the NaV1.8 that just came out, suzetrigine. I'm sorry, I still think I said it. But that is also right now just for acute pain. But there's quite a few things and molecules that people are looking at. So I am hopeful that there could be new treatments out there on the horizon.
Wonderful, wonderful. On the last medication that you talked about, that's approved for short-term usage, I think.
It is for
Which is-
severe acute pain, yes.
Yeah, it's hopefully we'll get that approved soon.
I have a question. I just wanted to know more about the Invisible Project and how does one participate to be featured in an upcoming edition of the magazine? Like, is there some sort of application or like an interview process?
Absolutely. So that's a great question. On our website, we also have an area where it says share your story. And so individuals can go there and share a little bit more about their lived experience with different diseases and pain. And when we typically choose a topic, we will go to our share our story section and see if there are any individuals around that topic, and we will reach out to them. But we also, and this is why it's really important to also sign up for our newsletter, we will also stick it in our monthly newsletter, usually about 6 months prior to when we are going to be publishing our next edition, asking if anybody would like to be featured. And then at that point, we share what the topic and the theme is going to be. So please, if that is something that is of interest to you, please reach out. I have to say, I am in awe of every single participant who's ever been profiled. I know how scary it can be to be so vulnerable in the public about what you have gone through and the experiences, the feelings, the emotions. But what I think is so powerful is the fact that we don't have to live with the same condition. All of those feelings and the actual navigation through the healthcare system are pretty much the same, regardless of what disease you are living with. And so we can learn from everybody else's experience and we become inspired by them and motivated by them. And we see ourselves and we resonate with those individuals as well.
Wonderful answer. I have a question. When you joined US Pain Foundation yesterday, 2010, it was a small organization. And you have grown it from a small organization to where it's a powerhouse now. What are some things that you could share with other leaders of nonprofits that you thought was something that inspired you or helped in the growth of your organization?
I think it comes down to, that's a big question. I'll start with that.
Yeah.
I think we were very fortunate that we have a very small team, but we are all dedicated and so passionate because not only do we believe in the cause, but we are actually utilizing the programs and services that we provide because we are all living with our own chronic pain as well. And so I think that that comes down to it. I also think another thing is really to listen to the community, see what those unmet needs are. And then also, depending on what you learn, a few things that I found super fascinating, even from our recent survey, was how many people were still looking for peer support groups, knowing that the organization that put out the survey offers nearly 70 every month. And we believe we are sharing that information broadly and widely, but so many people still hadn't recognized or realized that we offered free online peer support. So again, I think it's also taking the information that you're hearing and then seeing, okay, well, either A, do we need to recreate something and help people with whatever unmet need, or what can we do better to make sure that we are communicating with everybody that is part of our community so that they really know what is out there and available to them.
Wonderful, wonderful answer. Do we have any other questions for Nicole? Okay, I guess I will ask something that's probably clear. For full disclosure, I'm kind of have a close relationship with the new Invisible Project and the
Yes.
process. If you could talk about, one of the challenges of being a leader in an organization is grooming a successor and seeing the growth of your team and starting the Invisible Project and then turning it over day-to-day operations to Rebecca. That leadership mode as a CEO, can you give some guidance or tidbits of how you're able to work with and through her to be so accomplished? Without
I mean,
sharing all your secrets. We don't want you to do that.
she is a powerhouse. To have her take on the role of director of the Invisible Project, I am so happy and honored and so privileged that she was interested and wanted to, because she is fantastic at making sure that the individual stories are told in their words, and are really, really powerful and can connect with others. I think, to answer your question, one of the things is that we all work very closely together, everybody within our team, and we support each other and we help one another out. When you're with a very, very large organization, but very small internal team, everybody is stepping in and helping. So whether it is somebody coming in and our advocacy director helping with the writing of an article or reviewing something, or our director of the Invisible Project helping with something that has to do with advocacy, or our director of the pediatric program, or our directors of mental health, we all kind of just come together and where do we need to be? What can we do to make sure that we are fulfilling our mission and our goal? Because at the end of the day, it is all about making sure individuals do not feel alone, that they have the resources, the support, the education, the information that they need, and that we are there to assist them. And I want to make it very clear again, US Pain Foundation is very unique in the sense that we're sort of an umbrella organization, right? Like, we represent every disease that has pain as a symptom or a component. And so we really do strive to have strong collaborations with all organizations across the board, because we never have to be the number one educator on, let's say, migraine and headache diseases, but we do need to know what organizations we can connect people to fill those needs when they come up. So we know where we are really strong in what we do, but we also work very closely with over 70 other nonprofits because we want to make sure that we are really empowering those that come to us and giving them all the tools that they need to help manage their conditions in the best way possible to improve quality of life and health outcomes.
That's a wonderful answer. We at the Autoimmune Registry also share that same perspective as being on the umbrella organization for all autoimmune diseases. And it's amazing how many patients identify pain as a symptom in their makeup. It's a huge number, and knowing that there's the opportunity to get vital information is very much welcome for them. Looking at the future with the understanding of DNA research, do you think that we're getting close to identifying a biomarker for pain?
Oh, I mean, I am not a scientist, so I would not be the right person to ask, but I really, really hope so.
Yes, that would be nice. Erica, you have a question?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. All right. With that, do we have any more questions for Nicole?
I don't see any in
Yeah.
the chat.
Okay, we have one from Judana.
Mhm.
She has a question regarding CRISPRs. Judana, would you like to ask the question directly? Okay. Her question is, I have CRPS and recently a serious attack changed my EKG in my lower and lateral leads. So it is flight and T waves, and I'm reading her typing, inverted T
Right.
waves. So very scientific question there. So Nicole, you want to take a stab?
Well, I don't know if I can actually answer that because again, I'm not a provider. I can share that I understand and I relate to having and living with CRPS. And I think one of the things, and I don't think this is unusual just to our disease, but most diseases, is that so many other things are occurring at the same time that we are dealing with one condition. And so it is really hard. And I think it's really fragmented healthcare system then where we are almost trying to be our advocate and we are going to see an a GI doctor, and then we have a pain doctor, and then we see immunologist, and we're going all these different places trying to manage everything that is happening to us.
Just for full disclosure, no one that's speaking, as Nicole said, we aren't doctors, and we are a resource, but it's always important to go directly to the source to validate and get as much of a clear answer. One of the points that Nicole had mentioned, finding a doctor that said, I believe you, is very important. I think we all go through a process of trying to find a practitioner that will hear us, understand that we are unique, and we're trying to find an answer and to find a solution. And so that is a good direction, I think, to look into it. Do we have any additional questions? Okay. I don't think
I
we're
just want to
able.
say thank
Yeah.
you so much for
Yeah.
having me. And to what you just said, Reggie, I think it's so important. I know that I mentioned it, but um, nothing about my pain changed when I finally found a provider that said, I believe you. But everything about my life changed. Everything opened up. And while the pain was the same, I had my voice again. And I think that is so, so important because for many of us, we feel dismissed, we feel marginalized, we feel gaslit, we lose our self-worth, our self-identity, our self-esteem. And slowly but surely, I started to rebuild it. And then once you find your voice, you become unstoppable, right? Like at
Yes.
that point, you're going to start advocating for yourself. You're going to start advocating for others. You're going to feel empowered. It's so sad because I wish none of us had to go through what we're going through. I also know that there's not one magic medication treatment modality out there that is going to take away our conditions and our pain. Yet, let's still hold on to what might be coming in the horizon, right? But what can we do now? How can we redefine our lives? How can we get to what really, really matters to us? Because it might not be about dropping the pain levels down. It's a lot of times just about what matters. So for me, it is to be able to go watch my kids play baseball. For somebody else, it might be cooking that Sunday meal for the family. Somebody else, it might be taking a walk with their dog, or it could be having a coffee with your friend at a coffee shop. So find those things that matter to you, and then let's see how we can make that happen again. And sometimes it's pacing, sometimes it's baby steps, sometimes it's reassessing how can we do those. So it might be more unique. There are times when maybe I can't go to the baseball field, but somebody can video the game and I can watch it live from home, right? So there's
Right.
all different things that we can do, hopefully, so that we can live that quality of life that we all really need. And so I just want to say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to come and talk with your community. And please know that you are all part of our community, and reach out to uspainfoundation.org if we can be of help. Please utilize our resources and education. And I just truly, truly appreciate being here today.
Nicole, thank you very much. Very much kind words, and we really appreciate it. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful holiday. Just as a heads up, we're going to take the month of December off, and we'll be coming back in January, where we will be presenting John Mueller, the CEO of Getting Up Foundation, which looks at myositis. So with that, please have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful holiday. Thank you very much for attending.
Bye all. Thank you.